Donnie Darko is one of those movies that is really layered. You can't really call it one thing in particular. You could describe it as a young rebellion movie, a tragic romance, a metaphor for what young boys go through mentally, or, canonically, it has to do with a tangent universe, as the director has stated. Despite that, what makes Donnie Darko so beautiful is that we can form our own interpretations. It's what art is about in the end. Even if the director has given a canonical answer, he encourages others to find their own meaning to what the movie means. So that's exactly what I'm going to do in this video. I'm going to explain what Donnie Darko means to me. Just a heads up, spoilers for the movie, and there will be a trigger warning. There will be discussion of suicide and the idea of wanting to commit suicide. So if that's a bit too much for you, please feel free to skip this video. So, let's rip this band-aid off. In my opinion, the movie is about Donnie Darko wanting to commit suicide. However, he is afraid, so he makes a temporary, psychological dream and stays in it till he wakes up. In the real world, time has frozen, but in the dream, time goes forward. And during the dream, he slowly gets the confidence to commit suicide. And in the end, he achieves it. That's really depressing. The movie itself is already hella depressing on its own, and my interpretation just makes it even more depressing. So, let's go over why I think this. At the start of the movie, Donnie avoids dying and goes outside. Frank states these numbers, and these numbers appear on his arm when he wakes up. Those numbers are a timer. When the time's up, he has to die to save the world. My interpretation of this is that I don't legitimately believe it's the world, but Donnie in that world. A world he doesn't want to be in. A world where he feels so disconnected, like no one really understands him. He doesn't want to be around people. People don't understand him. He's all alone. It's quite sad. He has good parents too. A really supportive father, a mother who tries her best, yet throughout the movie he's drifting away, like he's not meant to be here. The numbers on his arm is that deadline. By running, escaping his fate, he's avoiding the inevitable. He knows that he can't keep running. So in a sense, by committing suicide, Donnie believes he's saving himself from the world he lives in. Of course, he could end it all before due time. However, this brings up my next point. He's afraid of dying. We get these scenes where Donnie is talking to a psychiatrist. It's so clear he's crying out for help, and again there's such a massive disconnect between them. Donnie talks about how he learnt that every living creature dies alone, and he's afraid of being alone. He tries to pretend he isn't, but deep down he knows he is. To add to it, it's so depressing how much God is mentioned in these sessions. This is about Donnie. Why bring up God? It's like even if this is a dream, the real world is slowly creeping its way in. Keep that in mind for later. In addition, Donnie takes pills to help him. They may help a little, but it's clear from the get-go that taking pills isn't a solution for him. Donnie wants to end it all, and he's afraid. But throughout his dream, he slowly becomes more confident. He connects with other students, a teacher named Drew Barrymore, and he even starts a cute little relationship with someone. Even if he truly feels alone, he still connects with others. That's amazing. Even if it's in his dream, it gives Donnie some joy. It's a bittersweet lie, but happy is still happy, right? A forced smile is still a smile, yeah? He gets the confidence to express his thoughts. He becomes brave. At class, when he is told that emotions are black and white, fear and love, there is no in-between, he stands up to the teacher and is like, no, emotions are weird and complex. You can't lob them into a single category. Then telling her to forcibly insert the lifeline exercise chart into her anus, or standing up to the vile piece of shit preacher who is trying to sell a book and calls him the Antichrist. Amazing. Fucking amazing.
I think you're fucking Antichrist. Woo!
And of course, burn it to the ground. His confidence is rising. It pushes him to wanting to end himself. He's slowly understanding and becoming less afraid. Now, as I hinted before, even if this is all a dream, the real world that Donnie is a part of is slowly making its way into the dream, such as he can't connect to his family, even in the dream. They are a Christian conservative household. No matter how hard his mother wants to connect with him, it just never really happens. Even in a dream, it's still that bad. There are just so many times where Donnie just feels disconnected. He has a loving family, people who care about him, yet he still feels like he doesn't belong. He's never meant to be here. Not in school, not at home, not in his room, not in this world. His world. It gets so bad that even the cute relationship he's in ends tragically. His dream, which is meant to help him escape the world he lives in, is slowly turning into a nightmare. To me, this is telling me that no matter how much we use daydreams to escape the world, we all will be forced to enter it again. You can never truly escape this horrible, depressing, vile place we call the real world. Well, that's not true. There is one way. A permanent way. Yeah. All of this pushes him to commit the act. In the end, when the dream is over, he wakes up, full of confidence. He accepts this. He's nervous, but smiles. He wants to die. He understands now. Everything he's been through, his world, it ends. All of it ends when he dies. It's so sad. Like, there's a bitter, cruel irony that these little moments of joy only made him want to commit suicide more. He's free now. That feeling of being disconnected, a sense of not belonging, being afraid of dying alone, those hurdles are gone. He can rest now. He's at peace now. This is what he wanted since the very start. Okay, it's now time to talk about Frank, the character who wears a super unique, cool, yet very uncomfortable looking bunny costume. Or you know, stupid bunny suit. I love the design, by the way. I wish I had a cool bunny as a friend. Anyway, Frank is Donnie's friend. Donnie connects with him a lot. And the question comes up, is Frank a good friend? Since Frank pushes Donnie to the path of suicide. In the famous scene at the cinema, he mocks Donnie for wearing a stupid man suit, as he knows that this dream is just a hoax. Hell, the fact that Donnie went to the cinema for a date, but he is so disconnected, he ignores his date and talks to Frank instead. But there's this one line in the cinema scene that honestly makes me cry. And for me, this line gives it away that Donnie knew deep down that suicide was what he wanted. For him, it was the solution to his problems. He's been afraid to accept it. And now, Frank is telling him what he knows deep down. Here is that scene.
We're just gonna stop. You should already know that. I want you to watch the movie Scream. There's something I want to show you. Have you ever seen a portal?
poor boy. So Frank, in my opinion, isn't a bad friend. He's only being honest. He never lies, he never misguides Donnie, he never sugarcoats anything. And remember, this is my interpretation and this is still Donnie's dream. Frank is a part of Donnie's mind. Is he really a friend? Like, personally speaking, I daydream a lot. Currently I'm rewatching Kill la Kill. I love Satsuki, and I daydream hanging out with her. As friends, it helps me escape a little from the world. But let's say she did something bad to me. Does that make her a bad friend? Or am I making her a bad friend? Frank is a part of Donnie. In a way, Frank is a little part inside of Donnie, reminding him what he really wants to do. That's it. I know, it's only my interpretation, but I really relate to Donnie Darko so much. That feeling of being disconnected to your family, your co-workers, etc. Like, I don't trust my own family to tell them about stuff. I'd rather talk to my bestie. Think about that. Family's meant to be there for you. They're meant to give you unconditional love and support. But I'd rather just talk to my best friend. This fucking cruel world we live in. We're not living, we're just a part of it. We're being in it. We suffer in it. Is that what life is? Born into a miserable fucking world that we never asked to be in, just so we can ache? Donnie never wanted to be in that world either. People will tell you God is your purpose, work is your purpose, there is purpose in life. People tell you what it is. How about asking yourself, you were born into this world. Why? Why do you live? What is your purpose? It's so depressing to think about. For a second, just think. What is your purpose? Donnie isn't wrong when he says no one knows what they want to be when they grow up. It takes time, a long time to find out. We all know what Donnie chose to do. He had some joy in his dream, but in the real world, he simply believed he never belonged, and he wanted to leave it. He's not the only one who decides to end it all. I may be a feminist, and I care deeply about issues women face in our world. Being a female in this world is beyond difficult, or how much black people, especially black women, have been so oppressed by the systems we live in. We try our best to support one another, be there for each other, connecting with one another. I now have to mention how easy it is to forget that a lot of young boys, very young boys, choose to end their life. That number rises so much. They live in a society that pushes them to not be emotional. They gotta act tough. Boys don't cry. Be a man. They have no out. They feel like they're trapped. They cry out for help, feel disconnected just like Donnie. When they can no longer just exist, they choose to end it all. But we mustn't forget that men cause so much harm in this world. They hurt women so bad, evils in their hearts. Why is that though? Maybe if we lived in a world where it's okay to be emotional, and if men didn't feel like they have to be tough all the time, maybe, just maybe, we won't have an issue where men are killing women every day, abusing them every day. I don't know. This world is fucked. What a wonderful world we live in. So many people suffer, so many young boys end it all, and the men that embrace the toxic nature that society forces itself upon them turns them into monsters. Don't forget, white cis straight men made the system we live in. The evils of capitalism harm so many people. Okay, no more. The real world sucks, we all know that. So that's it. Making this video was really depressing. It made me all emotional too. I really love Donnie Darko. It's probably one of my favourite movies ever. I hold it so dear to my heart. So, I would like to hear what you raiders think about Donnie Darko, what it means to you. But let's be honest, does it even matter? We all die alone in the end.
How's it feel to have a wacko for a son?
It feels wonderful.